Hello everyone and welcome back to the second webinar. Tonight we're going to talk about dehydration and the effects that it has. A little bit about how much water we should be drinking, but we are going to save that for future. But I think it's good because it has some comments that came up in the journaling, which has been outstanding. Thanks so much for doing that. So as we'll do every week, let's start with a practice of mindful water drinking. So remember, it's a three-step process. There was some questions about that. So the first step is to become present. So what I'd like you to do is try to drown out the noise around you. What I'd like you to do is look at your water bottle or your glass of water. Notice how still it is. Notice the color. Notice how the light shines through it. If your mind starts to wander, that's okay. Just bring it back to the moment. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Let's do that again. Breathe in, hold the breath, exhale. Again, if your mind is wandering, that's okay. Bring it back in the moment. Don't worry about the past. Don't think about the future. Let's just be right here, right now. Again, put your focus back onto your water bottle, onto the water, it's in its pureness. Now, step two is to be present. So what I'd like you to do is let your hand reach out and take the water. Notice how your arm just naturally knows how to do that, knows where to put the hand and such. Again, allow this to be your trigger to become present and in the moment. Again, look at the water, how pure it is, and how good it is. Now what I'd like you to do is pick the water up and bring it close to your mouth. So that's step two. Now step three is to receive your gift. So what I'd like you to do is take a mouthful of water, hold it, feel the water in your mouth, then slowly begin to swallow. Feel it go across your tongue, down your throat, through your diaphragm, into your stomach. If your mind is wandering, that's okay. Just bring it back. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Let's do that again and I'll join you. Let's do one more. Great. Thanks for being in the moment with me. What I thought I would do is read a few of the journal reflections, which I thought were outstanding. Thank you again for filling that out. It's been terrific. So I'll give you a couple which I found, hopefully you'll find profound, and I did. What I found today was that on 2 occasions I practiced the mindful drinking, but it was probably the first time I actually felt in the moment. Probably was for a total of a couple seconds though, before my mind went back to the task at hand. Smiley face. That's great. So we're starting. It's a starting point. We're getting into the moment. That's great. Great webinar. It improved my knowledge of mindful water drinking. Thanks a lot. That's our goal. We want you to learn as much as possible during these events. The mindfulness video instantly made me relax. That's terrific. If you're getting a relaxation effect, that's great. Again, we want you to try to stay in the moment and be present. I am surprised to find that I occasionally follow the steps described in the webinar when drinking at work. At first, I kind of smiled about it and thought, you are just making fun of the process. But in the 3 days that I have been trying to be more aware, I find that I can feel my body relaxing if I just take the time to follow your example of being mindful when drinking. I have also noticed a slight increase in my water consumption. That's great. We're going to talk about the benefits of that today and the negative effects of not having enough. This exercise allowed me to become more aware of my total health. I often worry about that and have advice for others, but now I'm looking at myself. That's great, and we certainly know, whether it be your family, your friends, your extended family, your work, your patients, if you're not looking after yourself, then it's pretty hard to look after other people. So again, looking at how we value our own health is important. If we're putting it below work and family and social supports and making money and all of these things, if it gets put down, then the likelihood of success certainly goes down. So we want to try to move that up. And what you'll find is when you put your personal health higher, then those other things will actually be enhanced. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I have a couple slides to share with you. So I guess a good place to start is probably what you heard in grade 7, 8, 9 science, maybe in high school or even elementary school. But basically, again, most of us probably know that the body is predominantly made up of water. So again, if we watch the TV shows like Survivor and so forth, you know that you can go for a pretty extended amount of time without food, but not very long without water, maybe a couple days max. So we know that, for example, the blood is made up of 93% water. So you can imagine if any small amounts of dehydration can have a negative effect on your blood pressure, whether that be low or high or what have you. So staying hydrated actually helps with that. So the brain, 75% water. So again, you can imagine all the processes that are happening there and how important it is. Another interesting one is the muscles, 75% water. We'll talk about that in a second, but that can have a pretty negative effect as well. I'm just going to change it to full screen mode so you can see probably a little better. It helps remove waste, so digestion plays a big role as well. So just about every process in the body involves water, so that's why it's so important. If you're wondering, am I actually getting enough water? Here's a quick check that you can do, and I can send this to you if you like. Not a problem. So it's just a quick checklist. So if you're feeling spaced out, there's a potential that you're dehydrated. Food cravings such as salt and sugar and bread and pastas, that might be also a sign. Could be a sign for other things, but first of all, let's take care of our dehydration if that's the case. Walk into a room and feel forgetfulness. So if you get that hazy feeling, anger, frustration, depression, so those are all can be signs of potential some dehydration. Energy dip after eating lunch. So we certainly know that fatigue also can play or can be a sign or a warning sign that maybe we're dehydrated. So those are a quick score that you can do. I can send you that checklist if you'd like. You can tweet me or send me an email, either one. So what are some of the signs? Of course, increased thirst. And I will let you know that that's pretty much the last mechanism. So you're probably in a pretty good dehydrated state if you're actually thirsty. So let's not get to that point. So let's try to be mindful and remember to drink throughout the day and not allow us to get us to where we're actually full on thirsty. Dry mouth, another good example, which I'm experiencing right now, so I'm going to have a little bit more water. Lightheaded, as we said earlier, fatigue, pretty common sign, impaired mental focus. Low urine output, so if you haven't gone to the washroom for 3-4 hours, then you're probably not drinking enough water. Certainly we could look at medications and some other issues, but it could be a telltale sign that, hey, I'm not getting enough in. And then the skin, you'll see that here in a second. That one of the signs is also what's happening in your body. So you can see on one half of the picture is the negative effects of dehydration, and on the other side, the positive effects of staying hydrated. So healthy scalp, strong hair and nails, clear, bright eyes, certainly weight loss. We could spend hours on that. There's tons of research and my own practical experience, my own anecdotal experience working with people that, if your goal is weight loss or weight management, make sure you're staying hydrated. That plays a lot of important roles in that as well. On the negative side, acne, bags under the eyes, and again, we keep seeing this dry, red nose or dry skin. I know I have eczema, and if it's flared up, I certainly know to go to the water, and normally it does help. Doesn't totally clear it up, but certainly does help. So again, water plays obviously lots of important parts in the body, and we should stay hydrated. So how do I know if I'm dehydrated? So we gave you some of the signs and symptoms. Here's another simple way. So I did have the good fortune last year to go through Australia and New Zealand. Got to see numerous different sports centers, and they actually had these posted in the washrooms for the athletes. So what we find is if you're in 1, 2, or 3, probably well hydrated. If we start to dip below where you see the color of your urine is 4, 5, 6, or 7, there may be an issue. Now, some medications can cause discoloration of the urine, so check with your doctor. Vitamins can do that, and then certain foods, like I had last week, a good healthy portion of beets in the evening and kind of got freaked out when I went to the washroom and forgot that I had beets. So that's an easy way to kind of, a crude way to tell, hey, am I actually hydrated? So again, should be that light yellow or white predominantly throughout the day. Might have some periods where we dip down, but if we're checking on a regular basis, it should be that color. So then the question came up in the journal is, well, how much is enough? Okay, so there is a calculation that you can do. Not that you have to remember this. I can send it to you. But you can take your body weight in pounds, divide it by 2, right? And then divide that by 8. And that's how many glasses of about 250 mils of water that you should be having. So that's kind of a really a more mathematical estimate. I'll let you know, anywhere between 2 and 4 liters is pretty good. If we dip below 2, no matter your body size and such, you're probably getting too little water. If you're above 4, you're probably safe, but if you get into real high amounts, then that can become an issue. But if you can get 4 in, great. More, say if you're exercising a lot, if you're getting out for a bike ride at lunch and you're walking after work or you're going for a run. So again, it depends on how much sweating we do. If you're out in the yard for 4 hours doing lawn care this weekend or things like that, then we might need a little bit more. But a rough estimate would probably be between 2 and 4, or you can use our calculation provided there. And I can send that to you if you like. Okay, so I'm going to come back to me. Hi. And let's do another practice. So let's become present. Drown out the noise. Deep breath in. Exhale. Look at your water. Notice how clear and pure it is. If your mind's wandering, that's okay. Bring it back in a moment. Let's reach our hand out and feel the water. Notice how your arm goes out naturally to get the water. Bring it up towards your mouth. Deep breath in. Exhale. Let everything drop. And let's mindful water drink. Remember to feel it go across your tongue, down your throat, down your diaphragm, into your tummy. Let's do it again. Excellent. I'd like you to do that one more time after we sign off. So hopefully you got a little bit out of that. So talking about dehydration, you can watch the color of urine, look for those signs and symptoms. Might be a sign of dehydration. Let's get 2 to 4 liters in over the day and keep it spread out over the day. But I'm going to talk about that a bit more in the next webinar. We're going to talk about the benefits of being mindful, some more of the physiological benefits. I'm going to go a little bit more into some other meditative things that you can do. We'll practice our mindful hydration together again. And also, I'm going to, in the next couple of webinars, talk about, well, what about caffeine? What about coffees? What about teas? What about pop? What about other things, energy drinks and so forth? Is caffeine a dehydrant or isn't it? So we're going to talk about all of that over the next couple. And I'm going to try to, I've got my clock on, I'm going to try to keep it to 15 minutes. I have a tendency to talk too much. If you can, I'm going to send a couple tweets out, retweet it, and I'm going to choose one person and I'll do a one-on-one session with you if you want. So I'll get your Skype name and we'll do a one-on-one, which is what I do as part of my job. So I've been a personal trainer, exercise counselor for over 20 years. So tweet out the next one that comes out, retweet it, and I'll contact you, the lucky winner, and we'll do a one-on-one session and talk about your total health score if you want to, and anything related to health. I'll answer your questions. So thanks a lot. Again, next week, I'll send it out this way. I'll just automate it, send it out so you can watch it on your own time. If you watch this, great, thank you. Either tomorrow night or one night this week, please fill out your journal that I'll send to you. It's been great. It's been great for the study, and hopefully it's allowed you to do some self-reflection. We're going to be having an app coming out in the near future of how, an app that you can use that can give you the instantaneous feedback, because I do think that's really important and is really the glue to sticking with a new behavior like this. Again, thanks a lot. So tonight we practiced, we talked about some of the reflections, which were great. We talked about dehydration, keep an eye on your urine, keep an eye on those signs and symptoms, and stay hydrated. Thanks a lot. Have a great rest of the day, morning, evening, whenever you're watching this, and we'll see you next week.